nights in temperatures of minus 48 degrees Celsius. I was taking on the challenge for charity, and it was going to be shown on television, so I wanted to push myself to the limit. The aim of my challenge was to be the first person to cycle to the South Pole, which still sounds bonkers to this day. Bikes and snow aren't meant to mix, and no one thought that I would be able to cycle through such tough conditions. Yet I believe that if you put your mind to it, anything is possible. I knew very little about Antarctica other than it was at the very bottom of the world, and I knew adventurers with far more experience than me had died trying to reach the South Pole. It would take months of planning and training, and the challenge involved a huge support team who were far more experienced in this brutal and dangerous environment than I was. My lungs and limbs needed to be at their best, and I was going to have to push my body and my mind to the absolute limit. What I would learn during the experience was humbling, both about myself and this incredible wilderness that we need to preserve and protect. If I can go from playing in the snow at home to getting all the way to the South Pole, so can you. Follow my journey and find out how you can have adventures in the snow from your back garden to beyond. Wild World. Antarctica is the coldest, wildest and driest continent on Earth. The coldest temperature ever recorded was minus 89 degrees Celsius, and because the air is so cold, it never rains. Adventures in Antarctica. Challenge. To be the first person to use a bike as part of an expedition to the South Pole. As well as travelling on a custom-made bike, I would cover the distance by skiing and kite skiing. Cross-country ski, 68 miles. Kite ski, 329 miles. Bike, 103 miles. Days, 20. Distance, 500 miles, averaging 25 miles per day. Average wind speed, 80 miles per hour. Temperature, minus 48 degrees Celsius. I cycled, kite skied and kited to 83 degrees south from the coast. From there, my expedition began. The end line, the South Pole. My trip in numbers: 30 nights camping on ice, 50 rations of dehydrated food, 15 metres of medical tape used on the blisters on my feet, 1 wash with a sock using a bucket of water, 1 change of underwear, 1 Guinness World Record for the fastest 100-kilometre by kite ski, 500 miles travelled. Training and preparation. Imagine a cold weather adventurer. Are you thinking of big men with snowy beards trudging through the ice? Roald Amundsen, Robert Falcon Scott, Ernest Shackleton all survived extreme hardship in their attempts to reach the South Pole. Scott and his men died on the return journey. As I trained for this adventure, I discovered that cold weather survival is about more than just physical strength. I'm not very tall and I don't have massive muscles, and I'm pretty sure I don't have a beard, but I am determined, and in that environment, mental resilience is hugely important. I only had 6 months to prepare, but I was lucky to have 3 inspirational polar adventurers to show me the ropes. Conrad Dickinson taught me so much about cold weather survival. Sarah McNair Landry showed me how to kite ski, and accompanying me on my adventure was my teammate, the Norwegian kite skier and explorer Nicholas Norman. To get used to extreme cold, I trained in Iceland, New Zealand and Norway. I knew it was going to be impossible to bike the whole distance, so to be confident I had 3 methods of transport: biking, cross-country skiing and kite skiing. As well as being at peak physical fitness, I had to prepare myself mentally. The challenge had so many unknowns. What happened if the bikes didn't work? Or if I got ill? I learned to block out everything other than the training goal in front of me that day. 1. Biking. I was determined to travel by bike as much as possible. My custom-made bike had wide tyres and thick treads to grip the ice. Training involved cycling in a wind tunnel to get used to the Antarctic blasts. I practiced riding on the beach because the Antarctic snow is so dry, it's more like sand than snow. I got some strange looks cycling down the beach. 2. Cross-country skiing is an efficient way to cross the ice. Training involved building up my strength and fitness by running and lifting weights. I also tied a tyre around my waist with a rope and dragged it around a field in practice for pulling the heavy sledge. 3. Kite skiing. You can travel at speed and cover huge distances by using a kite to pull your skis. It's exhilarating, but it does hurt if you fall. Training involved learning to position and control a kite in the wind. I started with a small training kite before moving to a full-sized one for top speeds.